trust, he gains the ability to sculpt their very thoughts. You are wise to fear these rings. Gadriel.
Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 2, Where the Stars Are Strange. Now, I will be getting into spoilers in a minute, so if you haven't seen the episode, make sure to go check it out and then come back and watch the rest of the video. I think going forward for these episodes, I don't want to go through every little detail of the story like I've done in the past. I think it's going to be a little bit more entertaining and fun if I just kind of talk about the stories within the show in the order that I'm enjoying them. So I think hopefully that's something that works out. But overall, this was a really, really good episode. I feel like it had a lot to live up to from the previous one, right? There was a big revelation, big catch up. We get to see that big prologue for Sauron. So, like, obviously, this one had a lot to live up to, and I think it does. It manages to kind of keep that momentum going. I'm actually kind of glad that I waited. I waited about a day or so before watching the second one, because the first one was just so entertaining that I was hesitant to start the second one. So I'm really looking forward to the next one as well. They dropped 3 episodes, so I should be able. As of recording of this, I haven't seen the third episode. But let's kind of go through some of these stories. I think the main thing that I want to talk about is the stuff that's going on with Galadriel and Sauron. So even though they have separate plot lines at the moment, their story it's kind of the main one, right? Galadriel is one of the more popular characters from the recent or from the movies, which is a character that would be around back then, so they were able to use that. So it makes sense that they would focus a lot on her story, and then of course discovering the journey of Halbrand, Sauron, slash Sauron, all throughout how he's changed, how he's evolved, and we see another transformation in this episode. So I'll quickly touch on Galadriel because I feel like her story was not very deep, although there's a lot of stuff going on. Of course, with Elrond, her relationship has been a little bit damaged. King Gilgalad also has noticed that there's something off about her. These rings of power, although they should not, or they are not supposed to be corrupting the elves as quickly, it's happening, right? We're seeing it all kind of throughout the episode. Um, whether it's a Galadriel who's having now visions and kind of maybe some foreshadowing, or whether it's Master Serdon learning and trying to explore what this newfound power is. So everything that happened in the main city of the elves, it's very interesting. They're gonna find immobilized after this episode, so that'll be fun to watch. In the meanwhile, on the other side, we see Sauron, who goes back to Celebrimbor, and just kind of sits at his door. He's not welcome. We saw him arrive on the end of the last episode, and he's not been welcome, but he endures and he stays there. Really interesting that, like, because of their customs, I guess, or like the way that they have to receive a guest, they didn't just like immediately kick him out. Like they let him stay where he's at. So like this kind of passive uh, approach to solving or getting rid of problems is what Sauron's taking advantage of, right? But yeah, this one really leads. It's a very slow burn, and we kind of keep checking in all throughout the episode. But it ends up with a really cool like reveal. Sauron reveals himself to Celebrimbor in big fashion, like big magic. He has a full transformation with the long hair. Uh, but he introduces himself as Antar, who Celebrimbor calls the Lord of Gifts. And then we have, of course, maybe the maybe the scene that everybody had been waiting for, because immediately as soon as it happened, I was like, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like, oh, he said it, like he said he would, Celebrimbor, if he made the additional rings for the dwarves and then for the rings of man, that he would be the Lord of the Rings. So like we are on our journey after Sauron just continues to corrupt and kind of appeal to Celebrimbor's ego. I think Celebrimbor is a very flawed character when it comes to that, because I feel at this moment he has good intentions, but he's being blinded by his own ambition. That's really cool stuff. Great performances. Charles Edwards, really good. Like I mentioned, Charlie Vickers, just fantastic in this role. We do have two other stories. We'll start off with the. We finally go to the caves or the caverns, and we see Dis and Durin, um, who are struggling. Right, Durin's relationship with his dad is fractured after all the events of the first season. Um, but I think we're finally going to get the dwarves really involved. They continue to sing to try to figure out how to dig deeper into their tunnels, but they're having trouble with that. And they're also having trouble because there's like an earthquake or some kind of earthquake happens, where like obviously anything that happens like that can be very quickly disrupt their society. So that's going to be interesting to follow. We get a cool scene of the dwarfs singing, which is like just something that seems unhinged, just from a perspective of like what's going on, but obviously very important to the lore. So that's really cool. And then we end with the dwarfs, Durin specifically, receiving a letter from Celebrimbor, inviting him out to go see him. Now we know that he's being corrupted by Sauron, so who knows where that will happen. Obviously, they need the ore from the dwarves. I don't remember exactly what it's called, the material, but they need that from the dwarves to continue to forge these rings, right? So, and then I think the last story, it's not that it's my least favorite. I just feel like it's definitely the one that they're slow playing the most. We do have another dark wizard who appears. Um, and of course there's guesses as to who that could be. We saw in the season preview that there will be a brown wizard as well, but this is a dark wizard. Like he is referred to in the X-ray and in the subtitles as a dark wizard, who sends out a team of bandits or mercenaries to try to bring the stranger, right, to capture the stranger, and of course including this would probably get rid of the half foots as well. So we see a really cool scene after struggling through the desert. They get to a well that happens to have. It doesn't matter. They finally have a confrontation. The stranger picks up a staff because he's been dreaming about all these powers too. He's also been having visions. But he picks up a staff and probably in one of the coolest scenes of the episode, just like unleashes all this power, gets rid of the mercenaries, but also we know that he struggles to control his powers and his abilities. So, yeah, like things almost get out of hand. So we'll see how that plays out. Who is this dark wizard? And I can't wait to meet the other wizard who maybe will be able to give the stranger some assistance. But yeah, very interesting episode. Really enjoyed this one. I can't wait to get to the third one, and then from there we'll probably start a weekly cadence of these episodes. So if you've seen this episode, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know which one is your favorite storyline that's going on. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.